Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will meet with Vice President J.D. Vance today on the sidelines of the Munich Security Summit. The meeting comes after President Trump announced he's planning to meet with Russian leader Vladimir Putin about a peace plan for Ukraine. Zelensky insists his country and Europe be included in any future negotiations. More from Ollie Barrett.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he doesn't believe the US has a peace plan ready for his country. He's calling for the US, Europe and Ukraine to work together in efforts to end the war with Russia. It comes after US President Donald Trump suggested peace talks could begin imminently after he spoke to Russian President Vladimir Putin. At the Munich Security Conference, President Zelensky says his talks with Vice President J.D. Vance there will be constructive.
They are our partners, and I respect our partnership. And also, I have my questions where I think it will be interesting to share my thoughts and to hear Vice President's thoughts. I think it's very important to work together with teams. And when I had a conversation with President Trump, we didn't have enough time to discuss all the things about security and etc.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett.
Vice President J.D. Vance lectured European officials on free speech and illegal migration in a speech to a security conference today in Munich. Sagar Magani has more.
At the Munich Security Conference, Vance said elected officials are stifling basic freedoms if they don't like what they hear, and warns they risk losing public support if that doesn't change.
If you're running in fear of your own voters, there is nothing America can do for you.
Vance also cited illegal migration as perhaps Europe's most pressing challenge, citing an attack in Munich yesterday where the suspect's an Afghan man who arrived as an asylum seeker.
No voter on this continent went to the ballot box to open the floodgates to millions of unvetted immigrants.
Vance made just passing mention of the Russia-Ukraine war amid European uncertainty over the Trump administration's foreign policy. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Debris flows brought on by the strongest atmospheric river of the season swept a car off a Southern California highway and into the ocean and left roads submerged in sludge. While the heavy rains from the storm hitting the region have begun to ease, the risk of rock and mudslides on wildfire-scarred hillsides continued today, Ed Donahue reports.
Rain sent debris across roads, including the Pacific Coast Highway. A fire department vehicle was pushed into the ocean. The debris flow is coming from the wildfires in Los Angeles. Jeremiah Small lives in Altadena.
We're trying to do our own personal assessment of risk and not get caught up in the hype train, but also not be, casual about it either.
He spoke to KABC. In another wildfire area, Pacific Palisades, one intersection of highway was submerged in at least 3 feet of sludge. Evacuation orders and warnings are in place. Chris Yachern lives in Sierra Madre.
We moved our cars out of the way, but I think looking at how much more the water is kind of changing color, and we're probably going to head out.
To the north, snow and ice contributed to major pileups on highways in Oregon and Washington. I'm Ed Donahue.
The UN Food Agency says one of its staffers detained last month by Houthi rebels in Yemen has died in prison. The World Food Program said this week that the worker was one of 7 staffers detained by the Houthis last month. A World Food Program official says the 40-year-old Yemeni man died Monday in the northern province of Sada, and the circumstances weren't immediately known. The Houthis have not commented. The UN said Monday it was suspending its humanitarian operations in Sada over security concerns following the detention of dozens of UN workers and others in recent months. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called the death a deplorable tragedy and called the detention of other staffers unacceptable. At least 350,000 people in Sada benefit from UN-funded assistance, including food and other life-saving support to migrants and displaced people. The Iran-backed Houthis took control of the region at the outbreak of the Yemeni civil war in 2014. Those are the news headlines. I'm Max Pringle.